Picture this. It's a Tuesday morning in March 2026. The air in Scottsdale, Arizona is already warm at 7 a.m. And Margaret Holloway, 74 years old, retired dental hygienist, a woman who worked 38 years without missing a single paycheck, is sitting at her kitchen table. Her husband, Donald, passed 14 months ago. She has 2 adult daughters who live across the country, one in Portland, one in Charlotte. She has a modest house that's fully paid off, worth about $340,000. She has $287,000 sitting in a traditional IRA, money she spent decades carefully building. She has Medicare, or at least she thought she did. The envelope on the table is from the Social Security Administration. Her hands are shaking slightly as she opens it. Inside is a bill she was never expecting, for $4,782, due in 47 days. Margaret reads it once, then reads it again. She calls her daughter in Portland, the one who handles the family finances, and her daughter says 4 words that will haunt Margaret for months. "Mom, what did you do?" Margaret didn't do anything illegal. She didn't miss a payment. She didn't commit fraud. She made one mistake. One single, quiet, completely invisible mistake that triggered a penalty most Americans have never heard of. A penalty that Medicare is now enforcing more aggressively than ever before. And the worst part? She was never warned. Not by her doctor. Not by her HR department when she retired. Not by anyone. Welcome back to David Retires. Today we're pulling back the curtain on one of the most misunderstood and most financially dangerous Medicare rules affecting American seniors right now. This isn't about politics. This isn't partisan. This is about your money, your retirement, and a system that assumes you already know the rules, even when nobody ever told you what they were. If you are 50 or older, what you're about to watch could save you thousands of dollars. And if you're already 65 or older, you need to watch this to the very end. Before we go any further, if you've never been to this channel before, hit that subscribe button right now. The financial landmines that nobody is warning you about. Not the government, not the insurance companies, and certainly not the people who benefit when you get it wrong. Hit like on this video. It tells YouTube this information matters, and it gets this in front of other seniors who need to see it. Drop a comment below. Tell us your state and your age. We read every single one. And if you have a parent, a sibling, a neighbor, anyone over 60, share this video with them today. What you're about to learn could save them from a bill exactly like the one Margaret is holding right now. Now, let's talk about what actually happened to Margaret. When she turned 65, Margaret enrolled in Medicare Part A, hospital coverage, automatic, free for most people. But she was still working part-time at a dental office 2 days a week. She had coverage through her employer's health plan, so she made a decision that seemed completely logical at the time. She decided to wait on Medicare Part B, the part that covers doctor visits, outpatient care, lab work, she thought. Why pay for something I already have? That reasoning makes complete sense. And for a while, she was right. But then her employer reduced her hours. She dropped below the threshold that kept her employer coverage active. And here is where the clock started ticking. Medicare has what's called a Special Enrollment Period, a window of time you get to sign up for Part B after losing other creditable coverage. That window is 8 months. Margaret thought she had more time. She got busy. She was grieving Donald. She missed the window by just under 3 months. And when she finally enrolled in Part B, Medicare looked back at every month she was eligible but uninsured and charged her a 10% penalty on her monthly premium for every 12-month period she went without coverage. For Margaret, that added up to a permanent premium surcharge she will pay for the rest of her life, plus the back-assessed costs from the gap period. That's where the $4,782 bill came from. Permanent, monthly, for life. But here's what nobody tells retirees. That's not even the most dangerous part of this story. Let's stay with Margaret for a moment, because a few months after that envelope arrived, something else happened. Her financial advisor, trying to help cover the penalty costs, suggested she take a larger withdrawal from her IRA, just a one-time thing, a little extra, to cover the gap. She withdrew $32,000 in a single calendar year instead of her usual $18,000. Seemed reasonable, but that $32,000 pushed her modified adjusted gross income, her MAI, over a specific threshold. And when that happened, Medicare sent her another letter. This one wasn't a penalty. This one was an IRMAA notice, income-related monthly adjustment amount, a surcharge on top of her Medicare Part B and Part D premiums. Because Medicare doesn't just look at what you need, it looks at what you earned 2 years prior. So a decision Margaret made in 2024 showed up as a higher Medicare bill in 2026. She didn't see it coming. Nobody warned her that her IRA withdrawal would affect her Medicare premium. For 2026, the standard Medicare Part B premium is $185 per month. But because Margaret crossed the income threshold, she was bumped into the first IRMAA surcharge bracket. Her premium jumped to $259 per month. That's an extra $888 per year, every year, as long as her her income stays elevated. And here's the number that should stop you cold. If your income crosses into the highest IRMAA bracket, your Part B premium can reach over $620 per month for a single person. That's over $7,400 a year just for Part B, on top of everything else. It gets even worse. Here is the part that genuinely shocks people when they hear it. Medicare doesn't look at your income from this year. It looks at your income from 2 years ago. That's called the 2-year look back. So if you retire today, if you go from a $95,000 salary to zero, Medicare still prices your premiums based on what you made 2 years ago. You could be living on Social Security alone, and Medicare is still billing you like you're working. Let me show you what this looks like with real numbers. Take Robert, 67 years old, former sales manager from Columbus, Ohio, retired in January 2025 after making $112,000 in 2024. In 2026, Medicare looked back at his 2024 income. $112,000 put him in an IRMAA surcharge bracket. His Part B premium this year, $259 per month instead of $185. His Part D surcharge, an additional $13.70 per month. Robert is now retired, living on $2,200 a month from Social Security. And Medicare is charging him premiums based on a salary he no longer earns. He didn't know he could appeal this. He didn't know that a life-changing event, like retirement, qualifies you to request a reduction using Form SSA-44. He overpaid for an entire year before someone told him. That's $888 in Part B surcharges alone he didn't have to pay. Gone, because he didn't know one form existed. But the biggest mistake in this story hasn't happened yet. This is the part most retirement videos never get to. And it's the part that matters most if you have children or grandchildren you want to leave something behind for. Meet Carol and Jim Delaney, both 71, retired school teachers from rural Tennessee. Combined savings, $430,000 in traditional IRAs and a 401k. Modest home worth about $210,000. They did everything right by the standards of their generation. They saved. They were careful. They paid off their debts, but they never did any Medicare planning. They never coordinated their IRA withdrawals with their Medicare premiums. Every year, Jim took large distributions from his IRA to cover their living costs because their Social Security wasn't quite enough. Those distributions kept pushing their combined MAGI over the IRMAA thresholds year after year for 6 straight years. Their excess Medicare premiums over that period, roughly $14,000 in surcharges they never needed to pay. And then Jim passed away at 77. Carol's income dropped dramatically, but she also inherited Jim's IRA. And when the required minimum distributions from that inherited account hit, combined with her own RMDs, her income spiked again, back over the IRMAA threshold, back to the surcharge bracket. Alone now, fixed income, and Medicare billing her like she was still a dual-income household. The inheritance their 2 sons were expecting? Reduced by medical bills, unchecked surcharges, and a tax bill on IRA distributions that nobody had planned around. The money didn't disappear all at once. It eroded, quietly, year by year, dollar by dollar. But wait, is there anything they could have done? Yes. And this is where the story changes. Let's go back to Margaret Holloway, sitting at that kitchen table in Scottsdale, holding that $4,782 bill, Future One. She does nothing. She pays the penalty. She doesn't appeal. She doesn't adjust her IRA withdrawal strategy. The next year, she needs home health care. She didn't understand her Medicare coverage gaps, so she's paying out of pocket for services she thought were covered. She burns through $60,000 of her IRA over 3 years, just managing gaps and surcharges she didn't know existed. By the time she passes, her daughters inherit a fraction of what she intended to leave them. Her oldest daughter in Portland finds out, only then, that a single conversation with a Medicare counselor could have changed almost everything. Future 2, she makes 3 phone calls. The week she gets that bill, Margaret calls her State Health Insurance Assistance Program, SHIP, which provides free Medicare counseling in every single state. She files Form SSA-44 to appeal her IRMAA surcharge, documenting that her income was elevated due to a one-time IRA withdrawal, not a permanent change in income. She meets with a fee-only financial advisor who helps her map out her IRA withdrawals for the next 5 years, keeping her MAGI below the IRMAA threshold every single year. She saves an estimated $900 to $1,100 annually on Medicare premiums. She coordinates the timing of her Social Security and IRA withdrawals so they work together instead of against each other. She sleeps at night. Her daughters inherit what she always intended for them: the house, the savings, the legacy, not the penalties. If you are 60 or older, here is your action list. 1. Find your SHIP counselor. It's free. Every state has one. Search search SHIP Medicare Counseling plus your state name. These are trained volunteers whose only job is to help you understand your options. 2. If your income dropped significantly due to retirement, divorce, or the death of a spouse, file Form SSA-44. You can request a reduction in your IRMAA surcharge based on a life-changing event. Don't leave that money on the table. 3. Before you take any large IRA or 401k distribution, especially in a single calendar year, understand how it affects your Medicare premiums 2 years from now. That 2-year look back is real, and it's quiet, and it costs people thousands. 4. If you're approaching 65 and have employer coverage, mark your calendar. You have an 8-month special enrollment period after that coverage ends. Missing it means a permanent penalty on your premium for life. 5. Talk to a fee-only financial advisor about IRMAA bracket management. This is real retirement planning, not just saving money, protecting it from being quietly taken back by a system most people don't fully understand. Margaret is still in Scottsdale. She still has her house. She still has her IRA. But the version of Margaret who made those 3 phone calls, she's the one who sleeps without that envelope haunting her. She's the one whose daughters call her on Sunday evenings, not out of worry, but just to talk. That version of Margaret is available to anyone watching this right now, but only if you act on what you just learned. If this video helped you, hit that like button right now. It takes 1 second, and it helps us reach the seniors who need this most. Subscribe to David Retires if you haven't already. Every week, we go deeper on the retirement rules, the Medicare traps, and the financial moves that protect everything you've worked for. And share this video. Send it to someone you love who is 60 or older, because the rules are changing, and the people who get hurt are always the ones who never got the warning.